Hello everyone and welcome back. One of the reasons I put out these videos so that you can get the information you need for free without even having to call us is because there is so much misinformation on the internet. Now, specifically with regards to the Marchman Act, I just wanted to share with you some information that I found online. I'm not going to name the website where I found it, but needless to say, it was somewhat concerning. And I'm just going to go over these things with you so that it's really clear about what you can and cannot do with the Marchman Act. Now, if you're not familiar with the Marchman Act, especially if you don't live here in Florida, it is a statute that allows us to put somebody into treatment where there is a primary substance use disorder for periods of up to 90 days, and there's an assessment period and there's a treatment period. Now, on this particular website, it asked, what was the difference between Marchman Act and Baker Act, and that's a pretty good question. And obviously the difference between Marchman Act is that is a typically, not always, but typically a private action initiated by, say, parents and against adult child, and it is for primary substance use disorder, whereas the Baker Act is a statute that allows the state of Florida to take custody of somebody and detain them where there is a mental health crisis and it's an emergency situation, such as when somebody might be suicidal. Now, on this particular website, they talked about the fact that the initial assessment period under the Marchman Act is 5 days. No, that's not correct. That's the old statute. The new statute, which was changed just last year, says actually the initial assessment period is only 72 hours. Now, it can be extended, but there are very specific circumstances in the new Marchman Act statute which talk about how it can go beyond 72 hours. And then they say successive treatment orders of up to 60 days. No, that's incorrect. In fact, I've been handling Marchman Acts now for at least 10 years. We've handled hundreds of these things, and I don't remember it ever saying 60 days. I do know way back when, prior to me coming into existence, that it was 60 days, but that's long since been over. Actually, it's a period of up to 90 days. What else did they get wrong here? They talk about the fact that that Marchman Act requires 2 separate filings. It used to require 2 separate filings. It used to be you'd file a petition for assessment, then you'd file a separate petition for treatment services. No longer. Here, under the new statute, which was changed last year, it's either plead it or waive it. And what I mean is, if you don't ask for it in the one and only one filing under the new Marchman Act statute, guess what? You ain't getting it. So that means we have to request an order for assessment. We have to request a treatment services hearing. We have to tell the clerk, do we want an emergency ex parte order for assessment, or do we want a hearing? So, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts with Marchman Act, which is why I shudder when I see lawyers who don't know what they're doing with these things take these cases just so they can line their pockets. I also shudder when I see stuff like this on the internet. And so look, if you want information about the Marchman Act or about the Baker Act, my office will give it to you for free. You don't have to pay us for it. You can find pretty much all of this information on our social media platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Vimeo. There's also an ebook on both of my websites, bakeractattorneys.com and mentalhealthaddictionlawfirm.com. So you can read about the Baker Act and the Marchman Act and even the guardianship process, and you can get all of that information for free. So if you're going to do a little research and look at this stuff online, just know that some of this stuff that you're finding on what appears to be a reputable website is just absolute garbage. It's just not up to date. It's completely wrong. And that's it. I wanted to share that with you. So I appreciate you tuning in. I'd love a thumbs up. And if you can subscribe to the channel, I'd be most grateful. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.